from what I can see, it looks like you had what's listed as co-op, but I'm guessing it's sort of like an internship at a number of different companies. So take me through that, and then gaining the skill sets before you had, I guess most people would say a real job, like a full-time job.
Yeah, so I did do a co-op program. So like same as internship co-op, same thing. So we had 3 opportunities to take different terms, 4-month internships essentially over a 5-year course. They were kind of factored into our degree, and we would do, I think they started in my 3rd year, and then we kind of rotate between being in school and being on co-op, which was really nice too, just kind of to have the break of being in school, studying 24/7 and having no time, and then getting to go to work and kind of have a different experience. I think that honestly helped make it through the degree. Because I will say, like, I don't like the notion of, engineers are smarter than everyone. I don't think that's true, but I do think it's a challenging degree just in terms of workload. Like, they just throw so much work at you. I look back and I'm like, I don't know how I did it. I don't think I would be able to do it again. It's just so much work. So I think having the balance of co-op not only helps to break up the work, but also test out what might I like to do. So I did, basically the school would provide some postings. You could find your own job as well, but I didn't really have a lot of connections. So I went through the postings at school, and I got my first co-op at Pratt & Whitney, which is an aircraft engine manufacturer. And it was kind of cool. Like, it was more of so working in manufacturing is a pretty traditional job for an industrial engineer, because industrial engineering really stemmed from manufacturing processes and working more efficiently and kind of reducing waste and optimizing things is essentially what an industrial engineer does. Now, it's kind of evolved a lot in modern times. Not to say manufacturing doesn't exist, obviously it does, and there's still a ton of people, including industrial engineers, working in those industries. But manufacturing was where a lot of traditional jobs still are. And in that job, though, I wasn't necessarily doing industrial engineering. I was looking at like the training program and training certification they had, and then a little bit of process improvement things. So it was kind of good exposure to how does a company operate? Like, I had no real experience doing anything other than a karate instructor growing up. Oh, I think the office lights turned out. But yeah, so I think the first experience was good just to see how does a company operate. Had a great supervisor and learned a lot about, we're making products. We're making aircraft casings and the blades for the fans and the engine. So you're doing pretty, these are very specialized people and machinists working on these things, and they all have a very specialized skill to be able to do that. And so the shop floor was, crazy, full of all sorts of crazy equipment, and it was a cool experience to work in that environment. And then my second co-op was at BlackBerry. So that was kind of my first exposure to the tech world. Yeah.
Okay, this blast from the past. Yeah, because they were in Toronto, weren't they, or outside of Toronto?
They're Waterloo, which is about an hour from Toronto and about an hour from where I grew up as well.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I won't even get into what my job was there, because I don't even know what I did. I think my title was business analyst, and I kind of was looking at some process improvements. But honestly, that was my first exposure into the world of tech and how chaotic it can be, because I was there in 2015, so it was kind of past their peak, right? And it was not a great time for BlackBerry. There was lots of layoffs happening, there was lots of consolidation happening. In the 4 months I was there, their last manufacturing facility in Cambridge, Ontario closed. So I initially started at that facility, was moved to the other facility in downtown Waterloo, or just outside of downtown Waterloo. And then they were closing one of their office buildings. Like, they had Brim Park, which was their initial where they had their offices. They were closing one of those and moving people into one building. A bunch of people that I had worked with were laid off during that time. And also we got to see, town halls for the first time, of people flying in to come participate in these town halls. And, there was some crazy marketing presentations, and I was there when they launched I think it was the last phone they ever launched. I'm not actually sure, the Priv. So I was there when that was released. And so honestly, I think it was a little bit scary to see people kind of being laid off, but at the same time, things were moving quickly, and the marketing teams were pushing these new products, and you're working in this company where it's very consumer facing and everybody knows BlackBerry. And so there was something about that experience that kind of appealed to me, even though the job itself wasn't necessarily what I'd want to do, but it was something, things are happening here, whether they're good or bad, and just being at such a public company was kind of cool, because Pratt & Whitney is a more traditional job.
Okay. And so it was essentially almost like the first, even though from the sounds of it was quite chaotic, it was interesting going to a well-known brand or a well-known company and then working in there.